Some people say that pets are just being kept to die because of human ego. But if animals and humans are bound by love and trust for each other, pets will be happy too, don't you think? Patterns drawn with the sand represented the flow of a river or ripple in water. A Japanese garden is a garden without water, but with stones and white sand to represent the flow of water. Kare-sansui is a simple and modest, though not spectacular, types of Japanese landscape. Kare-sansui is a style of the garden that expresses the natural landscapes and universe of mountains and rivers with a stone, sand, plants, and trees without using a pond or the effort. An adorned garden influenced by Zen, which aimed for a state of nothingness. It attracted many people not only because of the Zen spirituality of sensing water where there is a none, but also because of the ease with which a garden can be created. You will also notice that when scuba diving, the sound pattern is actually underwater as well, and is created by waves, swells, patterns that looks like radio waves are wonderful. Just looking at it all the time, it looks like a Nazca story or paintings, wind ripples, or patterns or films on the surface of the sand by the action of wind. They are also called wind streaks, sound ripples, or sand crest. Wind ripples are created by various factors such as wind strength, atmospheric temperatures, humidity, sound grain size and weight, air current behind the first wind ripples created another air current behind it, creating a wave-like patterns that repeated itself over and over again. Wind ripples also forms of the soil. While I occasionally see Japanese-style gardens decorated with grandiose, magnificently, superbly, fantastically impressive, the imposing appearance with style, ambitious scale garden stones and the main trees. The charms of Japanese-style gardens, as seen on the gardens of temples and shrines, lies on their tranquil, calm appearance. It is a courtyard-like entity and refers to a small garden surrounded by buildings or walls. Since it is difficult to create a garden itself in central Tokyo or in area with small lots, many people tend to install this Tsuboniwa gardens are a type of a very small garden, indoor gardens form. A Tsuboniwa allows the sunlight and the wind to enter the house. Speaking of garden stones, I have an image that they are large, conspicuous, and sit on strong colors. In Japanese gardens, where tranquility is important, the use of garden stone, natural stones that is quite the opposite. Rather, they are positioned as materials that enhance tranquility. I feel relaxed when I looked at the beautiful gardens. How do you pour eternity into the teacup? How do you evoke the feelings of uninterrupted deep forest and shaded galleries on the narrow confine of a warrior residences or an urban Zen temple? This was a real problem in historically crowded Japan, and the solution to this constituted the real genius of Japanese gardener design. Japan is a condensed country. Three-quarters of Japan is mountains. So the people have historically lived in the other one-quarter that is relatively easy to cultivate and build on. often in very close proximity to each other. This proximity has deeply influenced the society, art, architecture, and garden design in Japan. In their quest to bring the beauty of the outdoors to the more heavily populated urban areas, Japanese gardeners studied and mimicked nature in great details. This was not an analytical study, but an empathetic journey to the essence of the old tree, stone, or bamboo fence. I hope that you will go into their next garden with a mind empty of thought. It is important to see what the garden is in any given moment, rather than what and why it was and what it can be. There are those who, attracted by grass, flowers, mountains, and water, flow into the woodways, while human ingenuity and norm trimmed perfections informs most other gardens as traditions. Japanese gardens are different. Most gardens around the world are hierarchical, arranged around buildings, which is often the main reason for the garden's existence. In Japan, it is the other way is around. In the best Japanese gardens, tea huts and other buildings are tucked to one side of the gardens so as it to be unobstructed as possible. It is said that aristocracy of that period located their gardens on its site first, and then constructed villas and the spaces left over. Gardens were constructed on a large scale, imitating the more variegated landscapes with artificial hills, ponds, and streams. In particular, when the tranquil atmosphere is desired, mountain stones with little color are often used to create a natural-looking layout inspired by the Japanese garden. The quiet appearance of the stones, which have a strong and sturdy image, have an appeal that still the surrounding air. And I believe this is one of the reasons why people feel a sense of serenity under Japanese garden. One of the characteristics of a Japanese-style garden is that it is not overly planted with garden plants, but rather than the space is designed in advance. You can see the unique ways to enjoy a Japanese-style garden, where the empty space or ma is also considered aesthetically pleasing and appreciated, along with the flower. Autumn leaves are also attractive in gardens. The culture of enjoying autumn foliage in garden has existed since ancient times, and there are still many Japanese style gardens with many maple trees. In order to enjoy autumn foliage, plant leaves, just as there are gardens when flowers are enjoyed. In the case of mountain foliage, the entire area is dyed in red, but in the case of the garden in the house, the autumn foliage has a partial beauty. The contrast between the trees that remains green all year round and those that turn autumn color is very beautiful each other's colors. A small hill in a pond was likened to the abode of Buddhist deities in India. Japanese gardens do not rely on bright flowers or exotic plants for their beauty, focusing instead on the simplicity of trees, shrubs, and moss. Places of initiation into the spiritual life and disrespected the gardens are the forerunners of the choice gardens of today. The best sources for information about these gardens are the texts of this time, such as the first Japanese novel, The Tale of Genji. Pure Land, or Buddhism and the late Heian period, refers to the Buddhist Western paradises, where the ultimate unification with the Buddha occurs in heavenly eternity. Aristocratic house gardens were thus created an image of the Western paradise. The stream flowing through symbolically separated this earth and the afterlife. Islands and bridges are symbolic of the stages of life in passing from the world of earthly pleasures to that of external faith. The ponds were often constructed in the shape of kokoro, the characters for heart. Japanese gardens are very different from Chinese gardens, to which they nevertheless all acknowledge that things Chinese were rebuilt in Japan prior to a Meiji period, yet while some combated plant materials used in Japanese gardens today may be traced back to China. The essence of the Japanese garden harks back to Japan's pre-Buddha roots, where nature was deeply understood and held scared. Every stone was believed to have a soul then, and the best gardeners then as now sought to understand it and set each stone to express its soul. Trees are printed back to their essences, and the level of autumn are prized. Plants that articulate the beauty of seasonal changes are carefully selected and situated to highlight the rhythms of nature. At their best, gardens are reminders of our own divinity. Our beautiful gardens resonated onto the depth of our soul. Fresh as the early mornings, any times we care to be fully presented. Once at it internalized, I can return to such a garden many times and be surrounded with a fresh, nurturing energy. How does one create and care for such gardens? This is a central question that the best Japanese gardeners have been persistent in asking and answering. I looked at enchanted gardens where the efforts of man, nature and times complemented each other. I saw that many gardens of exquisite beauty. Many of these have evolved well beyond their original concept, so that the designers would scarcely recognize them now. Shinto, the native pre-Buddhism religion of Japan, focused on nature and ancestral worships. From this early development, with added influence from Korea and China, the Japanese developed the religious and aristocratic gardens in 6th century AD. Japanese texts from this period mention that these early gardens, although no examples remains. A garden was created on the south side of a villa and included a water channel onto a pond at the center of the garden. Arrangement of stones and artificial waterfalls, drainages, and plantings. It is the compilations of rules that were codified so that the designers with less well-developed sensitivities could create successful gardens. The purpose of the ideal gardens, according to this treatise, is that it's to evoke nature in its planets of the gardens at once. A building's or view may be highlighted and revealed, and then again and hidden from view only a little later, creating a sense of mystery and discovery.